So today, you guys, we're gonna do some a little bit more of like the opening of the anterior chain, right? Like the front of the body versus like how we always do like a lot of posterior chain. So you definitely want two blocks and a strap. And then class will be about 50 minutes long. And I'm gonna save the last 10 minutes to do a meditation that I really like. Okay. And this meditation is for what you can do when you're managing stress and anxiety. So I don't know if that's something that you guys ever feel, stress and anxiety. Um, but it's a really good one. And I'm just going to actually explain it a little bit now. Um, so maybe it gives Maria an extra minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some visualization technique, and I'm going to kind of bombard you. And what's going to happen is with all the bombardment of the visualization techniques, the left side of your brain that tries to like analyze and process information, it's going to go into overload. And so everything switches over into like the right side of your brain, which is more like the creative part, right? More like being in the moment. So we're going to try to learn how to like toggle back and forth because like Zubair, like you're in a creative industry, right? Like you need to be in that like right side of your brain sometimes, but all the rest of like the meetings and the Zoom calls, it keeps kicking us back over to the left. So if you have a technique and it's pretty simple when I give it to you, that then like maybe when you need to go into like creative mode or like de-stress, you could do it for a minute or two and kind of switch back over into the right brain. Okay. So let's go ahead and get set up. And we're actually going to get set up in a nice heart opener. Okay. So I'm going to start with both of my blocks, Chicago style. Now, as I say that, the back block, if it's too much extension in your neck, you'll go up to New York style. Okay. But I'm going to try. And then when I come down, you guys, I'm going to take my strap with me so that I don't have to get back up to get it. Okay. So you'll start to position yourself down, and that first kind of sharp edge of the block comes right to the bottoms of the shoulder blades. Position the second block so that the back of the neck feels really long. And then you're going to step your feet into the mat, taking your feet a little bit wider to let your knees drop and collapse in against one another. Great. And then close your eyes there. So when we are dealing with stress, right, we have to be like persistent, meaning just because we have like a challenge or something that's frustrating us, we don't want to feel that we like quit or get knocked off course. Okay, so we have to be persistent on our path. But then we also need to learn how to resist. And what I mean by resist is resisting the temptation to let your mind wander and catastrophize and worry. Right? Try to avoid those places of just like maybe autopilot or instantaneous gratification. And so these are going to be our two words today. When you inhale, I want you to think persist, stay present, stay focused. And then exhale, resist, resist kind of like our ego, our small self. trying to take over. And we're going to take 3 more breaths, thinking inhale, persist. You've got this. Exhale, resist, not succumbing to temptation. Inhale, exhale. Enjoy the breath. Use the inhale to feel the upper back bend, the lift and rising of your chest. In the exhale, the softening, the letting go of what you don't need. Good. And then from there, go ahead and grab your strap. So Maria, we're propped up on the 2 blocks, one across our upper back, one underneath the head, giving us a gentle back bend. Grab your strap, take your arms up to vertical. Yep. And soften the brain, relax the back. And then take your knees apart, bringing your thighs back to parallel. And then take your strap up and overhead. Good. So pull the biceps back past your ears. Yep, Kendall, stretch the arms back behind you. There you go. Okay. Now, please stay here for a moment and do less. Don't grip too tightly through your hands. Hold the pose lightly. Try to create space in your lungs, in your ribs, to allow that inhale breath to really pour in. Good. Again, take your strap up. Inhale. And please circle it back again as you exhale. Okay, so depending on the tightness of your chest, of your armpit, the elbows might want to bend. Try to lock through the elbows. And then can we feel the shape as you bring your arms back up to vertical, almost like a cow pose, right? At some point today, we're going to be on our hands and knees. Your pelvis is going to be in this anterior tilt. You're going to feel your low back, your spine, your ribs lifting up. And then one more time, please. Take your arms up overhead. Okay. Yep, maybe you can get the backs of your hands down towards the floor. And it's okay, you might feel like a tightness in the chest as you try to inhale. So we might come across a little resistance, but we try to persist. We try to stay with it. And we resist that urge to force. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, keep your arms back behind you, but now bend your elbows a little bit. So we bend the elbows more like the cactus arms. And then as you do that, can you walk your shoulder blades more together? Squeeze, nice, Zubair, yes. Squeeze the muscles on your upper back. See if that lifts your heart even more. And then re-extend the arms. Straighten your arms all the way. And you should get a little bit more opening. That's what we're looking for here today, you guys. 2 more times. Bend your elbows a little bit like the cactus arm. Take your time. Don't hurry. Try to get the elbows down, the back of the hands down, and then stretch your arms up, overhead, feeling the stretch through the pectoral muscles, the insides of your shoulders. And then one more time, please bend elbows. Inhale. And exhale, stretch the arms to straight, lengthening out of the hips, the side ribs, all the way back. Excellent, you guys. Bend your elbows, soften, bring the strap back up, release. Good, and then please roll off your block but come to lie back down onto your back. So move your blocks out of the way. Take your feet as wide as your mat, knees as wide as your mat, arms open wide, a lot of space between the feet and the knees. Inhale. Exhale, windshield wiper your knees over to the right as you look to the left. Follow your breath. Inhale, center, neutralize the legs, the hips, the head. Exhale, drop your knees over to the left as you look to the right. One more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, knees right. Look in the opposite direction of your knees. Warm up your whole spine. One more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to the left. Okay. Now we hold. Inhale up through center. On this third time, drop your knees all the way over to the right and then help yourself. Right foot outside edge of your left knee. Good, Zubair, exactly. And try to pull. And I think of like tapping or kissing that inner left knee towards the floor. And then please stretch left arm alongside your left ear, more on the diagonal, reaching towards the back left corner of your mat. Good. Really bring everything back to center, arms open, big feet, and knees drop over to the left. Left foot outside edge of right knee, press it forward and down. And then right arm reaches alongside your right ear. And then in some capacity, you guys, could you enjoy that stretch? Enjoy that opening. The back is in extension, which means you're back bending. Inhale. Exhale, release the left foot, come back through center. And then I'm going to drop my knees all the way to the right as I roll to the right and press up to find tabletop position. Great. From tabletop, biceps forward, triceps back, tuck toes, cow. Okay, now please hold cow. Hold cow until you can put the awareness in your hip and really let them pour forward, like you're trying to pour the water out of the front of the pelvis, belly drop. And then remember, you were just arching over the block. Can you put the back bend into your upper chest? Strong arms. Inhale. Exhale. Downward facing dog. When the mind wanders, when we start to daydream, when we start to overanalyze, come back to this inhale, persist, right? So be persistent, stay with it. And then resist the urge to let the mind wander off. Knees down to the mat, tabletop. Good. Again, inhale, cow. And I want you to stay there long enough that you feel the muscles of your upper back, of the backs of your shoulders actually working and engaging as you try to really pull the ribs forward through the upper arm and then send your hips up and back, downward facing dog, right? Trying not to lose that tipping forward sensation in the hip. And we have one more time, knees down. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, stretch hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Okay, knees to the mat, tabletop. Take a block to the center of your mat, LA style, horizontal. Okay? And then you're going to come down in the bottom 2 points, the sharp edges. We're going to put those right on the inside of our pelvic bone. And then when you come down onto your forearms in Sphinx pose, I want you to try to lengthen your belly button, lengthen the bottom of your rib cage slightly more forward and then try to melt over the block, stacking the hands. I like to turn my head in one direction. Good. Now, shake the hips or like wiggle your hips just a little, rocking gently from left to right. I want you to let the sharp corners start to kind of dig in. And so when you feel like a contracted or a place of tightness, stay there and breathe into it. So just like that first pose, when we were kind of absorbing the block into our upper back, I want you to drop the weight of your torso, your ribs, your chest, your shoulders, and imagine that you're kind of absorbing the block up into the abdominal region. If you're laying here and you're like, this is very uncomfortable, you're doing it right. So a lot of today's poses, you guys, I'm putting them here to help manage stress, anxiety, down regulate your nervous system. Few more breaths. Take full inhale. You might feel it more in your low back. And then especially at home, if you want to like exhale out through your mouth, letting go even more, sinking heavy, and letting the block really soften the tissue of your abdominals. Okay, one more. Inhale. And exhale. Great. Come back up to center, coming up onto your hands and knees. Tabletop position. Okay. Okay. So there should be like some maybe different awareness through your core, tuck toes. Inhale, pull your chest forward, cow. Use your back body strength to keep your front body open. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Now, inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Using the muscles of your upper back, sinking your rib cage down as you bend your elbows, lower slow to the belly. Good. Point toes. Are your upper back muscles working? First, inhale up cobra. Elbows are bent, hips are on the floor. Exhale, look over right shoulder, tap left shoulder. You're going to feel that in your left wrist. Inhale, center, cobra. Exhale, tap right shoulder. Look out over left shoulder. Get a little stretch to the inner edge of your right collarbone. One more time. Inhale, center. Exhale, tap left. Inhale, center. Exhale, tap right. Push into the root knuckle of that right hand. Stretch the wrist. Come back to center. Cobra. Remember, we want to use it like a sit up. Like it's strengthening the back. Elbows are bent. The arms aren't locking. And then press up. Tabletop position. Good. Hands walk forward to the top of your mat a little bit wider. Walk your knees back. Pour your pelvis forward. Puppy dog pose. Lowering your forehead down towards the mat. Okay, you guys, so this should be a lot like the shape that we took at the beginning of class. Your knees were bent. You were arching over the block and you were holding the strap as you were taking your arms up overhead. Now, please let gravity. See if you can sink your rib cage any closer to the floor. Press into your hands. Stretch forward through active fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, knees walk forward. Tabletop position. Check in. Keep persisting. Like, see if it's working. Tuck toes. Inhale, cow. Maybe getting fuller breath up around the heart. Exhale, send hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, slide forward into plank pose. Please use your upper back muscles. As you bend your elbows, let your ribs sink faster than your shoulders. Shoulder blades stay on your upper back. Point toes. Extend your left arm out. Plant the left palm down. Bend right knee. Scorpion shoulder roll. Huh? Move your left ribs that are touching the mat more towards the center of your mat. Think cobra, please, through your chest. Don't collapse. Inhale. Exhale, roll back to center. Bend both elbows. Right arm extends out. Press the palm down. Bend left knee. Scorpion shoulder roll tap. Pick up your right ribs. Try to move them more to the center of the mat. So we're using the floor to press that right shoulder back, open through the chest. Inhale. Exhale, come back to center, legs scissor together, plant that right palm. Inhale, cobra. Nice, you guys, bend your elbows a little bit more, be softer, stay long through the back of the neck. Tabletop position. From tabletop, come down onto your elbows. Palms come together to touch. Walk your knees back. Puppy dog pose on your forearm. I want you to start by pressing your elbows down and pressing the pinky edge side of your hands and your wrists into the floor. Good. Really push down like a karate chop and try to pull your ribs back even more. Inhale. Exhale. Now bend your elbows, point your fingertips up towards the ceiling, and see if we can put the stretch a little bit more. Good, Kendall. Good, Zuba. There we go. Everyone's got it. Good. See if you can put it more into the side ribs, the armpit, and specifically the tricep. Inhale. Exhale, please. Walk your knees forward as you release your hands, shifting forward. Tabletop position. Last time, you guys. Inhale, chest pulls forward, cow. Right? Is it an even distribution of the curve? Like even in the low back, even in the upper back, even through the neck? So it's like a hose. Like one part of the hose isn't overly kinked. And then send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Heels are heavy as you stretch your sitting bones away. If the mind wandered, come back to our scene. Like persist. Right? Like it's almost like you're being like a little bit like annoying to yourself. Like come back, come back. Don't let yourself wander and then resist, right? Any tendencies that you know kind of take you away from feeling light and kind of free and open here in the pose. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. You're working first. Micro bending your elbows, starting to melt your rib cage down, squeezing shoulder blades together, heart stays open. Good. Now, left arm goes out to the side, cactus arm. It's way harder, you guys, and I want you to be very gentle. Press your inner left shoulder down towards the mat as you bend that right knee and roll open here. Straight arm is easier. Bent left arm puts all the work right on that inner left shoulder. Just to be clear, my left shoulder is not touching the floor, but I'm trying to press it down. Good. Come back to center. Plant that left hand in. Inhale, chest opens. Engage back body. Exhale, lower. right arm out, cactus arm, bend left knee. Start by pressing that left or right shoulder. I try to pretend like I'm squeezing, right, like a tennis ball or something, and then roll in here. The more I push down into my right hand, my right elbow, and my right shoulder, my chest opens. Inhale. Exhale. Come back through center. Plant your hand. Inhale, cobra. Elbows bend, shoulder blades down the back, and press up. Tabletop position. Good. From tabletop, hands to hips as you lift up to find kneeling. And right foot forward, left foot steps forward to stand. Good. Okay, you guys, soften your knees, tip your pelvis, draw your elbows back, interlace your hands behind your hips. All right, so it's like knees, chest, chin. From the hips to the crown of the head, it should feel like cow pose. Inhale. Exhale, fold in here, taking the arms up and over. As much of your ability, try to rest your rib cage on your thighs, shake your head, shake your shoulders, let out what you don't need, and then release. Hands to your double block. Good. Inhale, lengthen half flat back. Yeah, no rush. Everybody go ahead, nice and tall. Step your left leg back, lunge. Good, so left leg all the way back. Left knee down. Point your left toe, please. Okay. Press as much as you can down through your left shoelaces. Keep drawing your awareness up. Press down through the top of the center of your ankle. If I was there, I would come to your calf muscle and I would try to pancake your left calf muscle down towards the floor. So from your left knee to your left toes, you're pressing straight down. And then see, you guys, if from there you can lengthen the spine up and out, get more stretch through the front of your left hip. Inhale. Exhale, step back. Downward facing dog. Okay, so we want to keep the belly soft, the hip flexors soft, letting the heart melt. Inhale forward into plank, right? It's a little bit different. Drop your knees. Now, as you rotate through your hips, lower your chest and your chin. Elbows are up. Lift your shoulders. Inhale, pull forward, cobra. Exhale, stretch back, long spine, down dog. Left leg lift. Inhale here. Exhale, step, left foot forward, up in between your hands, lunge. Good. Put your back right knee down. I like my block, right? That's the only way I can really keep my chest open. Point your right toe and pause here. Take your time. Shoelaces. Center of the top of the ankle. Calf muscle pancakes down. And then with the really heavy anchor of your right shin bone, lengthen up and out, stretch the chest open, inhale. Exhale, pull your hip back. Straighten the front left leg. Cow pose through your hip. Open the chest, shoulders back, right? So I want you to be in a back bend, just like at the beginning of class. Squeeze the shoulder blades. 1. Right? We don't even have to fold in. You should be getting hamstring stretch here for 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, fold left leg in, come to kneeling, right? We restart, second side, left foot forward, right foot steps to stand. Okay, bend your knees, stick the bum out. I kind of like chicken wing my arms back, interlace your hands, draw the shoulder blades back down and together. Like think of it almost sometimes like when we do bridge pose, right? We press the back of our head into the floor, the back of the shoulders, the back of the elbows, the pinky edge side of the hands, lifting the chest. Inhale. Exhale, fold in. Uttanasana, ribs are heavy. Arms lift up and over. Good. Use the weight of your head, your shoulders, your ribs. Good to pull some length out of your low back and hips. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the block. Lengthen your chest, half flat back. And step right foot all the way back into the lunge. Good. Back right knee down. Point your toe. Okay. Now on this side, you're going to shift your hips back just a little. Yep. Until you can take cat pose through your hips. So go in the opposite direction. See if you can squeeze your right butt cheek. As you squeeze your right butt cheek now, sink deeper into your hips. Keep squeezing that right butt cheek as you lower your hips forward and down. Yep, Maria, hips forward and down. As you keep squeezing that right butt cheek, and then stretch up through abdominals, stretch up through the heart, open up here. Yeah, hopefully that took you in a little bit deeper. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze that right butt muscle as hard as you can. And then release. Hands to the mat, stretch back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. It's different, right? You lower your knees, feel that chest and chin melting. So my knees, my heart, my throat opens, the neck is in extension. Inhale, pull forward, cobra. Exhale, send hips back, down dog. Stay there for a breath, breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, right leg lift. Right foot steps forward up in between your hands, lunge. Back left knee down. Grab your double block. Come up nice and high. Okay, and then I shift my hips back just a little, right? So that then when I push into the block, I can tuck my tailbone under. I do cat pose. Once I feel cat, I squeeze that left butt muscle to lock it in, and then shift forward again, bending deep into the right knee. Don't release that left butt cheek. Keep squeezing it in as you lift your chest. Find the back bend. Inhale. Exhale. Stretch out the anterior chain, the psoas, opening the heart. Especially at the end of the week, if you sit at a computer all day, kind of do the counter poses, and then walk the blocks back, straighten the front leg. Just work on cow pose through the hip. Remember all those cows, you could feel your back muscles working, shoulders back. 1. Hey, so sometimes we resist going deep into sensation, even when it's really helpful for us. Drop in for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Good. Bend into that front knee, you guys. Plant your hands, stretch back, downward facing dog. Okay, you're starting to feel a little warm and open through your upper back and shoulders. Inhale forward into plank. If you're ready, chaturanga. Inhale, heart goes forward and then lift up dog. Hips lift up and back, downward facing dog. Okay. right leg lift, bend right knee, roll the right hip open. Yeah. See if you can keep kind of melting through the center of your heart, your shoulders, and then please step right foot forward up in between your hands. Good. Come onto your blocks, Chicago style. Nice, Kendall. Good. And then before we lift all the way up, first take cat pose. Squeeze your left butt cheek and then lift to rise. High lunge. 1. Left butt cheek, squeeze it harder. 2. But soften your neck. Interlace your hands. Press your palms away. Like when the strap was up overhead. Now bend your elbows. Cup the back of your head and take an upper back bend here. Inhale. Exhale, release. Step back. Downward facing dog. Okay. Right? So every time stretch back to your down dog, like see if it's working. Do you feel a little more open? Inhale, forward into plank. We want a little bit of heat. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Choose cobra or up dog. Lift your hips, roll over your toes. Downward facing dog. Hold there. 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Stretch open through your armpit. 1 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Left leg lift. Bend left knee. Roll left hip open as you stretch into this. Good. Left foot. Step forward. Lunge. Great. Grab your blocks. Chicago style. Cat pose first. Posterior tuck of the pelvis. The squeezing of the right butt muscle. And then lift to rise. And remember, you guys, a big benefit of today's class is like we're kind of like squeezing out the stress. The issue is in the tissues that the body hold on to. Squeeze that right butt muscle. Lift up through side ribs. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms away like you're holding up the ceiling. Draw your front ribs in. And then bend elbows, cut the back of your head. And as you draw your shoulder blades together, like we were going over that block, blossom the chest open. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Hands to the mat. Downward facing dog. Can we lift the ribs up away from the shoulders so we're not sinking into the shoulders? We're lifting up and out with power. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Keep the heat. Press through the shoelaces, press through the palms, lift the chest. Hips lift, up and back. Downward facing dog. Right leg lift, bend right knee, roll right hip open. And then step right foot outside edge of right hand, lizard lunge. Put your back left knee down. Put the block left underneath your left hand, Chicago style. Good. Yep, exactly. Right hand, right knee, turn. Twist towards the right. Now, back off. Once you've backed off, you can push into your right hand. You can push into your left hand. Take more cat pose. Deep cat. And then sink in. Look for the stretch through the belly, the psoas. Now, turn through the ribs. Twist through the shoulders. Look out over your back right shoulder. And as your right arm reaches back, like those scorpion shoulder rolls, right? Bend your left leg in and try to squeeze left heel towards left sitting bone. Can you feel cobra? Feel the twist. 1. Step strongly into your right foot for 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. So kind of get what you came for, you guys. Stretching the quad, the hip flexor, the abdominals. Open the heart. And release. Hands to the mat. All the way back. Downward facing dog. Okay, so like if I really pause here and I get into like the subtle energy, like my left side body feels different than my right side body. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale, bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, pull forward, side ribs forward, 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 shoulders back, 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 back. Good. Push, use core. Downward facing dog. So the course of our week, our daily habits, right, kind of build these movement patterns in our body. We're trying to do a little bit of the opposite of, we're trying to like counter the whole week as we stretch open and open the heart and open the breath. Last side, inhale, left leg lift, bend left knee, roll left hip open. Yeah. Left foot steps outside edge of left hand. Great. Please put your back right knee down. And then I prop my right hand up, you guys, Chicago style. Just to make sure that I have more space. Good. Left hand onto your left knee. Now back off. Lock in through the hip. You should feel your belly button draw back towards your spine. Squeeze the right butt. And then sink in. Try to keep that. Turn the belly button towards the inner left thigh. Twist through the ribs. Twist through the shoulder. Left arm reaches back. Thumb is turned up. Think like that scorpion shoulder tap as you fold the back leg in. Now, both shoulders are drawing back, correct? Both shoulder blades are on your upper back. Good. Think cobra through your chest. 1. Go for the opening. 2. Inhale. Exhale for 3. Release. Plant palms all the way back. You should feel like a flow of energy through the front of the quads, through the hip flexors, through the abdominals. Last time. Inhale, forward plank. Bend elbows, chaturanga. Inhale. So the more you contract the muscles on the back body, the more the front body opens. Hips lift, up and back, downward facing dog. Take as many steps as you need as you walk forward to the top of your sticky mat. Hands to shins, inhale, open without locking your knees. Fold in here. Now, obviously, use it as a pose as you need to stretch your hips, stretch your hamstrings. But then also think like pulling the drain out of the tub. Let the week go. Empty out. Like it all spirals down the drain, out through the top of the head. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees deeply. Come all the way to sit down. And then all the way to lie down. Feet are hip width distance apart. Arch your spine first, like how, so you feel the backs of your shoulders press down. Okay, so does the breath feel a little less tight in the chest? If you have neck pain, sometimes all this can like alleviate some neck strain and tension. Now, bend your elbows, point your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Press your elbows down, your biceps down, your triceps pancake into the floor. Lift your hips up, bridge pose. Interlace your fingers underneath your hips. Use that to walk your shoulders more under as you straighten your arms. 1. Interlace the hands behind your hips, Maria. Go into C variation 2. Inhale. Exhale, please release your hands and lower all the way down. Hopefully feel the beating of the heart, feel a little more present, persist. Resist what you don't need. Now you're going to have the option to do one more of those. Or if you want today to come up into full wheel, okay? So either repeat that or take the hands alongside your ears, bending your elbows. I like to take my feet wider, you guys, and my hands wider so I have a bigger base. First, I arch my spine like cow pose so that I'm using my back muscles. Then I start to lift my hips, tuck the tailbone slightly under so my low back feels longer. I feel squeezed in, locked in through the glutes, and then press all the way up for full wheel if you want it, or bridge pose. One, trying to straighten the arms as you push the floor away, that arm up overhead back in for two. Inhale. Exhale for three. If you're up, slowly come all the way back down. Good. Left knee in towards your chest. Grab the top of your right shoelaces with your left hand. Let your right knee drop forward and down. Right hand outside edge of left knee. Twist to the right. Good. So, Kendall, can you bend your right knee? Grab your right shoelaces with your left hand and get a little bit of squeezing the butt. It's like I'm pushing my hips to the right. I try to back bend and twist here. Good. Release. Come back to center. Step your feet into the mat. Change sides. So right knee draws in towards your chest. Right hand grabs your left shoelaces, pulling it up high. Drop your left knee down. And I even move my left knee, you guys, a little bit, pointing more towards the center of my mat. And then left hand outside edge of right knee, pull it across the body. If you try to squeeze your butt muscles a little bit, you might feel more of a stretch through the left hip, lift up out of the low back, and then open through the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, unwind. Good job, you guys. As you come back to the center, you can give your knees a final squeeze in. And then I'm going to take my double blocks, you guys, and I'm going to put them underneath my thighs for support as the bottoms of my feet come together, right? Like in Supta Baddha Konasana. I want to let my hips and my belly and everything open, but without creating tension. Okay, and then spin the shoulder blades onto your upper back. Take your arms out to the side. And then please close your eyes. Okay, Kendall, I think it might be a little bit more effective for you if you bring your feet closer in towards your hips. So bend your knees more. Yeah, it could just be the angle, but that looks like a little bit deeper of a stretch. Okay, inhale, exhale. So this is the technique, you guys, for when we kind of can catch ourselves feeling caught in stress and anxiety, to have a little tool or technique to change gears. All right. So as vividly as you can, I want you to think of 3 tastes that you love. And I want you to be like really specific about it. Right? Like, I like fresh market peanut butter filled pretzels. I like the crunch, the creaminess, the salt, the sweetness. I want you to think of three tastes that you absolutely love. And then like imagine eating it, taking a forkful, a spoonful, a bite, chewing it, savoring it. Okay. Keep those in the back of your mind. Now I want you to think of three smells that are not food. Maybe a smell that like transports you to a time in childhood, right? Like for me, when I think of the smell of my grandfather's cologne when he would give me a hug. Right. I also really like that cedar smell of the inside of a sauna. Now really try to imagine smelling it, breathing those three. Think of three. And now keeping, you should have six things, three foods, three smells, and now three senses of touch. Like I love a big, fluffy, like hotel white comforter when you climb in to the sheets. Maybe you love the feeling of like grass when you walk barefoot. Maybe you like the feeling of, I don't know, your comfiest sweatpants or cashmere sweater, something you can feel. Imagine those touching your skin. Okay. Now, picture yourself in a spot where you're doing all of those things all at once. So maybe I'm in a sauna, giving my grandfather a hug, eating my pretzels, right? Try to imagine it. The taste of the food as you eat it, the smell in the air, the textures on your skin. How many can you hold on to all at once? Good. Keep trying. Taste, smell, touch, bombard your thinking analytical side of the brain and go into the right side of your brain. Be creative. Where can you be? What can you feel? What do you notice? Maybe what do you hear? And then stay in that space as you straighten your legs for Shavasana. Inhale. Exhale. So when you find yourself maybe getting a little overwhelmed, you could try to use this technique. Go to the place, sounds, use your senses in the right hemisphere of your brain to help bring you back into the present moment. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Stretch your arms up and over. Feel the length through the front side of the body as you bend your knees. Roll to your right and come up to fine seated. Center of the heart lifts like you're going up and over the block. Shoulders roll back and down. Holding the hands at the center of your chest. And then taking your thumbs to your third eye to bow forward and seal your practice. Try. Siddhartha.